What's up, guys? How are you doing? Today, we're going to talk about fear, vehicles, and outcomes. And when I say fear, vehicles, and outcomes, what I mean is what fears do people have when they're considering working with you or when they're considering whether they should replace their roof or choose to take a particular action? What vehicles are you providing to get them to then their desired outcomes? And there's many different types of fears. There's many different types of vehicles to get them there, and there's many different types of outcomes. But what we'll see is a lot of this stuff is aligned, and you're going to be able to really put people in buckets. And you can also kind of look inward and see, how do you best serve your audience? So guys, just so you know, we make these videos so that we can provide as much value as possible, so that we can see kind of what people are responding to. But we also want to make sure that you're able to take action from these videos, and we really make them for a few people. One, the person that's just the observer. They just are needing to look. They're going to do all this stuff themselves. Two, the person that wants to kind of view it and look and understand it, and then eventually wants to work with us to help them through this stuff. Then there's the third person, and they're the person that watches but never does anything with it. Try to be in the first two. Whether you're going to do this stuff yourself, or think about this stuff yourself, or work on this stuff yourself, or whether you're going to talk to us and get it done, it doesn't really matter much to me. I just don't want you to be the kind of person that's absorbing information and not doing anything with it, because this is good information. So if you're watching this, go ahead and drop a heart, a like, or something, just so I can see that you're here with us, and we will go ahead and get started. So guys and gals, fear. I know that we all understand inherently that there's fear around making decisions. You've probably feared making decisions for your own business. You've maybe feared making big decisions in your life, like buying a house or buying a car, or proposing to your spouse or getting married. Like, there's a ton of fears that people have. And usually a big one is just there's the uncertainty. So the fear of uncertainty, the fear of change. There's many different types of fear. So if you're looking at, like, just as humans, as people, fear is going to cover a multitude of things. If you look at fear in regards to whether someone's going to get their roof replaced and all of that, you need to look at, like, what is driving that. So if someone's fearful of getting their roof replaced or hiring the wrong contractor, what could they potentially be experiencing? Like, what is that fear? Where is it coming from? What type of fear is it? If you want to drop a comment, you can. If I see them in real time, I'll respond. But some examples that I can think of off the top of my head is, like, the obvious one. They are scared that someone's going to screw them over. They've either had a terrible situation with a contractor, or they've heard horror stories. Two, in addition to someone screwing them over, it's just a large amount of money. So whether they are excited or not, or whether they believe in you and trust you or not, money makes people act funny. So if you're in a situation where, like, a lot of money's changing hands, and even, guys, if a lot of it's coming from the insurance company, like, the moment they see the amount that's going to be paid, whether it comes to them and they give it right to you, or whether they're the kind of people who sit on it and kind of think bad thoughts of what to do with the money and not give it to you, whatever it is, you need to realize, like, money makes people act strange. So the other fear is just an inherent distrust of, do I even need a roof replacement? So some people will just know, yeah, I need one. I see a million people getting their roof replaced, but some people might not even know they need a roof replacement. So what we want to do is think, how can we, like, mitigate these fears as best as we possibly can? And there's a couple ways to do that. One of the ways that I think is really important is explain to them as much of your process as possible. Don't leave things in the dark. And when I say that, I mean, like, if you are in a situation, sorry, I have another screen. If you're in a situation where there's like not clear roof damage, but you know there's roof damage. Like, it's not like they have a leaking roof. It's not like they are experiencing like immediate problems with their roof. It might be a good idea to just be aware of the fact that they are wondering, do I actually need a roof replacement? And they're having to trust you. And it's responsibility for them to trust you. So not only do I want you to think, okay, I'm just going to do the best possible job, but how can you reinforce their decision with very clear evidence that they do need a roof replacement? So what I mean by this, like, even after you get through the conversations and all that, like, how can you show them? There's tools like Company Cam where you can have pictures up on the roof, but also, like, even if you don't use Company Cam, which I think everyone should, you could take photos, you could take videos. Like, what can you do to educate them as much as you possibly can? A lot of people might have someone doing SEO or have blogs on their website. Like, it might be a good idea, whether you have someone doing it or not, to just have 5 or 6 blogs on your website that are just explaining the different situations that someone might find themselves in if they need a roof replacement. And you can send that to people. That's one of the ways to use your website as a tool, rather than just like thinking, oh, my website needs to generate me leads and all that. Like, that's not all it's for. In fact, that's not the main thing it's even really for. The main thing it's for is so people that can go and learn about your company and learn about your process. So one of the big things you can do is like have resources for them, anticipate their questions and have the ability to answer them in a way that they know you're not just making it up on the spot. And in addition to that, document, show them what you're doing, show them the pictures and all of that. So that's one of the fears that you can kind of work through. Distrust for contractors. So this is one of the examples where, like, it's your responsibility to show what people have experienced in working with you. And I do think Google reviews and stuff are incredibly important for local service businesses. Like, I think it's very key to have, partially because it'll help you get found in Google and all that. But I think one of the big reasons is because people just need to see, like, what have other people experienced. Another thing that you can and probably should do is, like, instead of just focusing on like that 2 or 3 sentence review, what can you do to show the homeowner what your process looks like? So one of the things that I would consider is, like, not only are you maybe have something on your website where you're doing it, not only maybe you have something where maybe you have reviews that you can show them, but what are some other things that you can do? One of the big things I really think you should do and feel strongly that you should do is to document your work on social media. And that's why I made a video the other day about, like, creating like social media posts and grabbing content throughout your process instead of just sitting there randomly when you have motivation of like, what do I post? So this is an example of like why that is helpful, because if they go check you out on Facebook or Instagram and they can see that you are okay, this is what they're doing when they're inspecting the roofs. Okay, this is the same thing they showed me in the picture on person. Okay, this is what it looks like right the morning of the job when they're tearing off the roof. Okay, I get it. Like, oh yeah, it's nice and clean. Okay, this is what the job looks like complete. Okay, got it. Oh, they tagged the homeowner in a before and after picture. Like, great. So like you're telling them a story, and that's the kind of thing where like that's a way to help alleviate fear, because they can see and understand. And guys, I know this isn't like what a lot of you guys get up every morning excited about. But if you want to grow and if you want to think of every little thing that the homeowners that you're working with might be needing in order to make the right decision for you, this is a way to do it. So those are just some examples of fear. But like what I want you to realize is like they are fearful. Even the people that are like moving fast and are making quick decisions, don't underestimate the fact that they might be nervous and uncomfortable, and this is a weird situation for them that they don't really like. How can you alleviate the fear as much as possible? So that's step one, unmasking the fear, putting it out there. You're scared of this. This is how you know you don't need to be scared of it with me. Think through that. How can you add that into your process? Create it in your process. Have resources that you are ready and excited, like you have ready to go to provide for them. Don't just make it up as you go. Don't just shoot from the hip. Next, desires. So these are like the outcomes that people are wanting. So this is almost always the same. If someone doesn't necessarily think, I just want my roof replaced, that's not really usually the outcome. That's one of the ways that they get the outcome, but the outcome is very feeling driven, emotion driven. So what's the outcome? It's probably not what you think. Like, it's not like, oh, I just want to be safe. I just want to be heard. I just want to be like, those things are important and definitely like something to consider. But the main outcome is they don't want things to change. So they don't want the interruption. They don't want something negative to happen as a result of them getting their roof replaced. They don't want the roof to start leaking. They don't want to feel like their home isn't just this normal space that they want it to just be. The safe space, yes, but like the unchanging space. They don't want the change. So if you think about like what's their biggest desire is fear of change. And I would say that's like one of the most common desires that people have is like, I want to stay the same. I want to stay in my comfort zone. I don't want to do this. And they don't really realize it. They might not even be conscious of it. But in almost all sales situations, one of the biggest objections that you're going to get, if you really break it down, is about people just not wanting to change, just not wanting to leave their comfort zone. And that goes for homeowners as well. Their comfort zone is just their house and not having to worry about it and not thinking about the roof because they never had to before. Their comfort zone is not having potential issues, not having like impending damage that could happen. So like their comfort zone is not wanting to change. So knowing that, how can you provide a solution that is going to get them back to what their comfort zone is and what their normal is as soon as possible? And if you can deploy empathy during this process, and that's really like what the fear is, what the power of desire is, like it's all empathy. I know that's sometimes some people are like, yeah, that's a great word. Some people are rolling their eyes like, okay, Gary V, whatever. But empathy, guys, is one of the most important things because roofing contractors have, I know not everyone likes the BBB, but this is a very relevant piece of information. Roofing contractors are the second most complained about trade on the Better Business Bureau. The first is just general contractors, handymen. But the second is roofing contractors. And that's a big deal. Like that means that your industry behind Chuck in a Truck is the least trusted industry within the trade space. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's because the majority of the time y'all come out ready to go. What gets you guys excited? What gets you guys pumped? They're friends with the roofer. What are they posting out? Hail, 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 hurricane, 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 win, win, win. Is that empathetic? Hell no. So I'm not saying that you can't be like, okay, this is an opportunity. We're here for this. We're prepared for this. But you need to be prepared for disaster, but don't celebrate disaster and make sure that they don't think that you're celebrating disaster. So when I say empathy, I mean like you need to understand like this hailstorm was not fun for them. That wind damage was not fun for them. Them thinking that their roof might need to be replaced is not fun for them. So you need to understand what is actually going on in their heads. In all business in general, we all get like really wrapped up in like our own world. So like if I'm doing tree trimming all day, and I hang out with a bunch of other people who are tree trimmers, and if on Facebook I'm in a bunch of tree trimmer Facebook groups and all of that, I'm going to be influenced by other business owners, by other tree trimmers, by other people who serve the tree trimming industry. I'm going to have probably influence of like the same characteristics that a tree trimming contractor might have. Maybe they're going to be very conservative, and that's what most of my content is going to be. Maybe they're all going to be good Christians, and I'm going to see and feel like, oh man, everyone around me is Christian and all that. Everyone around me is conservative. But in reality, it's just the ecosystem that we built. So you need to break out of that, because homeowners are not in that. They don't think about roofing until they have to. And when they have to, it's a negative feeling, not a positive feeling. So you need to be able to like give them empathy, help understand, like, I understand what your fears are. And let me show you this article. It's kind of going to just like walk you through some different situations that someone might be in if they need a roof replacement. As you can see, it was written a year ago. I want to show this to you, and then I'm going to show you some photos of like what we found that kind of matches up with that. And guys, if you continue that sales thing, and look, Mrs. Jones, I know this isn't fun. I know no one wants to have to call the roofer, and trust me, like, the fun part of my job is not having to be the person that someone calls that they don't want to call. But the fun part of my job is helping the people that do call me and do trust me with the problem that they wish they didn't have. The fun part of my job is helping them solve that problem in a quick way, in an easy way, and in a way that just gets them back to not thinking about their roof and not worrying about their roof as soon as possible. That verbiage, that wording is going to completely disarm them, and it's going to give you so much trust. And then follow it the fuck up. Be good, be strong, be helpful. No offense, don't have the stereotypical contractor mentality. Don't show up late. Don't forget to answer your phone. Like, do the things that others don't do so you can make sure that you are not in that large percentage of roofers that make up one of the least trusted industries. Instead, be the person that's the exception, and be their exception. Be the person they're proud of. Oh my gosh. I was so nervous. I didn't want to get screwed over. I wasn't even sure that I needed a roof replacement. Johnny, though, showed me exactly what was going on and showed me like exactly why my roof was damaged. He then showed me some articles and gave me some resources that I could look at just to kind of verify things on my end. He pointed me to his social media and just said, follow him for a little bit so I can see what's going on. And I saw like he has before and afters with customers where he's standing right there next to them. He has like videos kind of showing what the inspection was. He went live on a job site the other day, so I could kind of see how clean it's set up and all of that. And be that person. And they're not going to necessarily talk about that actual stuff, but the point is, like, all these things make up for a pleasant experience. Why? Because they're nervous. They don't want to deal with this. And you're trying to show them, hey, we've done it before. We're masters at solving this problem. We can solve it for you effectively. And if you trust us, we'll get this done fast and efficiently and just get you back to living life. So that leads me to the next thing, which is the vehicle. So if you recall, fear factor. What are they afraid of? What are their desires? What outcomes are they looking for? And then now, what's the vehicle? So the vehicle with which you're best able to provide results. And this is, a lot of people think like, what's my ideal customer and all of that. And I think in roofing, some people say, anyone with a roof. It's not true. You want to think like, what specifically are you very good at in this process? What do you think you stand out? What makes you stand out in this process? And that's kind of going to be like the vehicle. So like you're saying, hey, we're very good at the insurance process, and we can make it simple and we can make it easy. And we're going to make it so that you don't have to worry about like the things that you have that are worried. So like we're going to help you do this through insurance. Or we're going to help you with your insurance process, but we actually just want to bid this straight. Why? Because we don't want to sacrifice our quality and give you any more or less than what we firmly believe you need. So we're going to just bid this job. We're going to help you with the insurance process, and you can either pay us cash from whatever you're paid for. But what a lot of people do is they get one of our financing options, and our roofs, usually a roof like yours, can be about $148 a month. And we have a 12-month no interest program. And a lot of people take us up on that. They keep the insurance money, and then they're able to pay it off usually within the next 12 months, but they have a little bit of cash from the insurance. So some people do that. You might not even want to deal with insurance or be in a retail market. So you can say, hey, people come to us when they want it done right, when they want it done fast. Hey, people come to us when they're looking for this specific material. Like, we're the best metal roofing contractor in Florida. Like, whatever the wording is, like, be ready to like communicate, like, this is the vehicle to getting you back to your desire that I am most proficient at. So the vehicle's all about like preferences. I would say the fears are usually going to kind of be in the similar bucket. The outcomes and desires, it's almost always, I want things to go back to how they were, essentially. Like, that's a way of looking at it. And then the vehicle is really just like, how do you provide your service? What do you provide specifically that makes you unique? And like, is there something unique? Like, are you a tile guy? Are you a metal guy? Do you just do it all? If you do it all, what's the main like approach that you have? Like, is it full insurance? Is it financing? Is it financing insurance claims? Like, financing insurance claims, like, it's a great move, by the way. I know that there's like the One Industry, One Model conference talks about it, but it's powerful. So that's a really good way of looking at it. And then communication. So communication kind of wraps everything that we set up, but what are you doing to figure out how they want to be communicated with? And what I mean by that is, like, do you have tools and methods within your business to kind of help identify where the person's coming from? Or are you treating everyone just like they just need a new roof? And I know that seems like, well, yeah, what else should I be doing? Well, I would really encourage you to like get really clear on what situation you're finding people in, and then communicating around that situation. That's kind of the empathy thing that I set up. But like, that's why, like, maybe consider creating resources and all of that for different situations someone might find themselves in when they need a new roof and when they need to hire you. And have those resources proactively get rid of their concerns, kind of help alleviate their fear. So they're going to show, this is what a situation that someone might be in is, and this is the situation you're in, and match that up and help communicate in that way and give them resources for that thing, so that they're able to understand and just feel comfort in, like, you care about them and that you're not just a number, and that you're giving them like a very customized approach in multiple ways, not just my roof's different than everyone else's, but like, I'm communicating with you in the way that is most relevant to your situation. And a lot of you guys are going to do this naturally, but when you're building a team, when you're trying to grow, these are things that probably come naturally to a lot of the owners or a lot of the people that have been in the industry for a long time, or even just someone that's like a natural at just like people. I'm not even going to say sales, like someone who's just like very empathetic, where this stuff is just automatic. But you're going to find a lot of different types of people that could create the outcomes you're looking for within your business, but you need to understand what they're good at and be able to give them clear ways of communicating with the homeowners. And it's your responsibility to help them communicate with the homeowners and to give them best ways to communicate with the homeowners, and to consider what's the entire process that they're bringing the homeowner through. Stop just throwing people out there. It's not good for your brand. It's not good for the homeowners. And you're just rolling the dice on other people's money and trust and all of that. And it's not the right way to do it. So, guys, I hope this was valuable. I know this is a little different than some of the ones that I do, but what I just want to really encourage you to think about is, where are you deploying empathy in your sales process and in your production process and all of that? And it goes so much further than just like this one-on-one conversation that you might have. It's, what are you doing proactively so that you can nurture your future clients? What are you doing today to consider the people that you're going to work with in a month? And that's creating those resources, understanding when to use specific resources. That's, what are you doing on social media? Like, why? Maybe you thought, oh, social media, I need to do it, or I just heard someone's supposed to, or social media doesn't do anything, or I'm not good at Facebook, whatever your thing. Like, no, the reason that you post on social media is to help build trust. And trust matters before they even know who you are, after they know who you are, when they're trying to decide whether to pay you money, and after they've paid you money, when they're hoping that they made the right decision. It's your responsibility, if you want to get as many referrals as possible, and if you want to get someone to really advocate for you, you need to be considerate through that entire process. And I hope you guys hear me and are looking at this. Some of this stuff might seem surface, but if you listen to it, if you really think hard about where in your business you are and where in your business you're not doing this, and then you make the proper adjustments, I promise you, it's going to result in better reviews. It's going to result in more referrals. It's going to result in potentially even more upsells and things like that. And the ease with which your business is going to run, because you're working with people that trust you and all of that, is going to be elevated as well. So guys, appreciate you. As always, if you want to talk about like how you can maybe work with my team on implementing some of these process-driven strategies where we're really considering a lot of these little things, just let me know. Hit me up. There's a link in the post as well. So go ahead and use that. See you guys. Bye.